Hey, what's going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about the Miami Dolphins. This on another episode of So Miami. What an off season so far. Things are not looking ideal. Things are not looking ideal for you, are they? No, they are not, because the Miami Dolphins might be the worst team in the NFL next season. Or they might not be. But my bet is they will. Miami, they had a pretty mediocre season in 2025, and heading into 2026, there wasn't much optimism to begin with. Tua had been benched towards the end of the season. Tyreek Hill had a very bad injury and would likely not be back with the team. And the only highlights on that team were Jalen Waddle and Devon Achane. The defense was not very good. The offense, even when it had all its working pieces, was not the greatest either. And we all knew something was going to have to change this season. And something changed, that's for sure. Tua's gone. Tyreek Hill likely be gone. And now Jalen Waddle's gone. That was not expected, but it has now happened. He's been traded to the Denver Broncos for a pretty big asking price. Now, that price involves a lot of draft picks, some pretty valuable draft picks, but he's now off the team. Not only that, some of the bigger names of their defense, Bradley Chubb, Minka Fitzpatrick, they're gone. Now, I'm not saying they're most impactful. I don't really think anyone on the Dolphins defense is impactful, but they're now gone too. And who did the Dolphins bring in to fix all this? Who did they bring in to fix their defense-offense situation that they've caused for themselves? Well, let me introduce you to these amazing people known as Malik Willis, Tutu Atwell, and Jalen Tolbert. Now, besides them, before I get into it, they brought in a bunch of low-tier free agents, a lot of bodies to fill spots on one-year deals. Clearly not really trying to fix anything on defense, and for the most part on offense. So, three names. Jalen Tolbert of the Dallas Cowboys. He's an okay receiver, not going to replace Waddle or Hill. Tutu Atwell. I'm a big fan of Tutu Atwell. He was underutilized with my Rams, but while he is talented, I don't think he's going to be a wide receiver one for any offense. We'll see. Maybe the Dolphins will somehow find a way to make him into a number one receiver. Maybe I will be wrong, and Tutu Atwell was extremely underutilized with the Rams, but I doubt it. And the man they picked to right the ship at the quarterback position, Malik Willis, who's now with the team for 3 years and has signed a pretty decent contract, all things considered. So, Malik, how much did they trick you into signing with them? Because you could have went somewhere else and likely got a similar deal for not having to put up with this. Because the Dolphins, honestly, legitimately, are spending half of their cap this season on players that aren't on the team anymore. They are giving you next to nothing to work with. I can't imagine that when Malik Willis was talking to the Dolphins, they were like, and we're going to get rid of all of your playmakers. You're going to have no one. You will struggle to do anything on this team and fail because we want you to fail because we want to tank. I can't imagine that was the sales pitch to Malik Willis. But maybe it was. Maybe Malik is a glutton for punishment and he just wants the money. Good for you, Malik. You will be the head of what might be one of the worst seasons in recent Miami Dolphins history. Because I don't see the Dolphins doing much next year. They might be worse than the Jets, and that's saying something, because the Jets genuinely look awful every year. And I can't imagine very many teams struggling against this Miami team. Without any elite receivers, well, just go after the quarterback. He's not going to throw. Get him. On defense, they ain't going to stop anything. They don't have a premier pass rusher. They don't have a good lockdown secondary. Their linebackers aren't that great. These Dolphins just don't have it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Malik Willis will come in, win the AFC East, and take the Dolphins into a playoff run. Which, if we're being honest and without any criticism or sarcasm or anything, I think the ceiling for these Dolphins is a very chaotic 2026 that sees a lot of AFC teams just struggle, and then the Dolphins miraculously pull off like a 7th seed wildcard slot. I think that's the max. The worst case is we're approaching like 0-17, kind of bad. Now, I don't think that'll happen. It's very hard to happen. I think they'll get at least one win. But it's not looking good for the Dolphins right now. In the draft, they better pick well. They better hit on stuff. So with that being said, guys, please like, share, subscribe down below, comment what you think, and I'll see you next time.